Coming up, a full guide to this year's Festival of the Holidays at Epcot. Disney presents
Beyond the Kingdoms. Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's main show of Beyond the Kingdoms. I'm your host David, and today I have my final holiday event guide from Walt Disney World. A complete look at Epcot's Festival of the Holidays. If you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button down below and click on the bell icon so that you never miss an episode. But without further ado, let's take a look at the holiday offerings taking place at Epcot this year. If you haven't been to Epcot during the holidays for a couple of years, you may be wondering if this is a new event. Technically, Festival of the Holidays has been around for a couple of years now. It used to be called Holidays Around the World, but last year it was rebranded to Festival of the Holidays to fall in line with the other events that take place at Epcot throughout the year. For 2018, Festival of the Holidays will run from November 18th to December 30th. But there are a few offerings that have different start dates. In some ways, this is one of the smaller scale events at Epcot, believe it or not. But that doesn't mean there aren't a lot of additions for the holidays. The countries in World Showcase are beautifully decorated for the holidays, and in typical Epcot style, tons of food is brought in. For 2018, this event will feature 12 holiday kitchens serving up classic dishes from around the globe, including one brand new booth. This year will also include tons of entertainment, with 7 holiday storytellers, 6 musical acts, and so much more. Let's first talk about food, because that is certainly what Epcot does best. Like all of the other events at this park, Festival of the Holidays includes several pop-up food booths. In this case, they are called holiday kitchens, and they serve up classic holiday dishes from countries around the globe and represented here at World Showcase. But unlike Food and Wine, all of these booths are around World Showcase Lagoon only. But something nice about this event is that the dishes can be a little bit bigger. This is the one festival where the food booths serve a mix of small plates and big plates, so I find that to be a nice bonus. For 2018, we have one new booth called L'Chaim, which, as the name suggests, will serve up Hebrew dishes. This booth will be located in between Morocco and France. Now, according to Disney, the booth will serve a pastrami on rye dish, a potato knish, and chicken matzo ball soup. And nearby this booth will also be the return of a holiday storyteller, but more on that later. The remaining holiday kitchens around World Showcase are the same from last year. Some of my favorites include the Yukon Holiday Kitchen in Canada and Las Posadas in Mexico. But many booths will debut new dishes for 2018. In fact, the Feast of the Three Kings booth, located in Showcase Plaza, has a complete new menu this year. Like many other festivals at Epcot, Las Posadas also has a whole new menu for 2018. This Mexican booth tends to have little tweaks every year and at every event, so there's always something fresh and new to try. Other notable change-ups are at the Tuscany Holiday Kitchen in Italy, and Taste Track will be serving up some croissant donuts, similar to how they did at this year's Food and Wine Festival. But the final big change at these holiday kitchens this year is the new cookie stroll. Now, I will say that I'm already a little bit skeptical about this, but I will hold my opinions until my review later this week. Last year, Epcot featured a festival center at the Odyssey, in between Mexico and Test Track. This location served up a collection of holiday cookies. But this year, it looks like Disney has scrapped having a festival center altogether. And instead, they have dotted cookies around a few holiday kitchens in World Showcase. Hence the birth and name of the cookie stroll. How this works is that at 5 holiday kitchens, you can purchase a different holiday cookie. After purchasing it, you'll get a special stamp in your holiday passport. Once you've collected all 5 stamps, you can head to the Holiday Sweets and Treats booth in Showcase Plaza, where you can pick up a completer cookie and a cold glass of milk. It will be very interesting to compare this to the cookies that you get included in your party ticket at Mickey's Very Merry Party at Magic Kingdom. So I'll let you know how it all turns out. But moving on from holiday kitchens, let's look at some dining at the restaurants. As you know, Epcot has the largest collection of table service restaurants in all of the parks at Walt Disney World. And like other festivals, there are dining packages at some of these restaurants that include reserved seating for the event's main entertainment offering, in this case, Candlelight Processional. And since this is perhaps the most iconic aspect of this event, I highly recommend it. At Flower and Garden and Food and Wine, whether or not these dining packages are worth it really depends on your passion for the various bands performing. But for Candlelight Processional, I think this is the one time that a dining package is crucial if you want to get a prime seat to the show. Let's look at some practical details. This dining package is offered at all the table service restaurants in Epcot, both in Future World and World Showcase. The only exceptions are the park's two signature restaurants, Le Cellier in Canada and Monsieur Paul in France. Additionally, 2 locations at the nearby hotels also offer the dining package, Trattoria al Forno at the Boardwalk and Ale and Compass at Disney's Yacht Club. And this dining package is offered for breakfast, lunch, and dinner depending on where you go. On average, the breakfast package can range anywhere from $38 for adults and $22 for kids to as high as $65 for adults and $38 for kids. That's mainly because of the Royal Banquet Hall in Norway, which is a little bit expensive. And breakfast packages are only available at 4 locations. But there are a lot more options for lunch and dinner. These mealtimes also have a wide range of pricing, from as low as $15 for kids and $50 for adults, up to $43 for kids and $80 for adults. I'll leave a link in the description below for you to look at all of the options, because there are a lot. And one final note on dining packages. If you're on the Disney dining plan, this classifies as 2 table service meal credits no matter what restaurant you choose. And if I were you, I would really double check the math, because in some cases, the out-of-pocket price for adults is really high, but the kids' price is very low. So at first glance, the adults might think that it's a wise choice to use the credits, but it could work against you if you have kids. A great example is La Hacienda in Mexico, which is the most expensive option for the adults at $80, but the kids' price is $17.50. That's a big price gap. So crunch your numbers before you take the plunge. Let's next talk about shopping and a few extra merchandise details, because no holiday event is complete without shopping. As I mentioned before, there is no single festival center for this event, so you don't have one large one-stop shop to browse all the event merchandise. But there are several merchandise booths dotted all around the park. So at Epcot, I think it's best to do a quick browse as you pass something that catches your eye. Since the park is so big, you want to shop as you go. There are a total of 6 holiday markets all around the lagoon. You've got one right at the center of Showcase Plaza, and then again in Mexico. The outpost between China and Germany also has a market, and there's a second one in this area inside the Germany Pavilion itself. Your next spot is at the American Adventure, and I find this one to be pretty good and a little bit bigger than the rest. And your final one is near Japan. And of course, keep in mind that the main big stores will also have a collection of holiday merchandise, such as World Traveler by the exit near France, the 2 shops in the center of Showcase Plaza, and of course, Mouse Gear. Which leads me to my next item. The one pass holder benefit for this event this year is a collectible Goofy magnet. Pass holders can pick this up on their first visit to the event, either at Mouse Gear or Port of Entry. Just keep in mind that the latter option will usually close promptly at park closing time. So, if you plan to pick this up on your way out, Mouse Gear is the one place to go, since it tends to stay open a little bit after the park closes. And finally, we have the Chip 'n Dale Christmas Tree Spree, returning from last year. Like all of the other scavenger hunts at Epcot, this is a fun and easy way to keep kids entertained while touring the countries. Chip 'n Dale can be found in hidden locations throughout World Showcase, collecting various ornaments for their Christmas tree. Each time you find them, you can place a sticker on your scavenger hunt map. At the end, no matter how well you did, you can pick up a special prize. Last year, it was a collection of little buttons, but this year, there'll be packs of postcards. This little activity is fairly inexpensive at $6.99. Pass holders do get a discount, and maps can be purchased usually at the Pin Trading Station in Future World, Disney Traders in Showcase Plaza, and again, World Traveler at the back exit of the park. In the past, I've even seen this on sale at the pop-up market in America, so keep your eyes open. According to last year's map, the only prize redemption location was at Disney Traders, but double check with cast members about other locations. I noticed that at this year's Food and Wine Festival, the redemption spots were at the same stores that sell the map. And finally, we come to entertainment. This is a major component to this event, in that there is a huge range of offerings, from big things like fireworks and Candlelight Processional to smaller scale things like the Holiday Storytellers. Now, if you watch my videos on this event from last year, I had some pretty strong opinions about this. 2017 saw somewhat of a big cutback on storytellers, and I thought it was a real shame to cut these back so significantly, because it was a great opportunity to educate guests. If you've never been, you probably didn't notice, because each country does offer something, but there used to be way more storytellers talking about various religious and cultural traditions. I'm not going to dwell on this too much because I did expect this to be the same this year, especially seeing that so many other parks are getting entertainment cutbacks. So for 2018, we have a somewhat spread out collection of entertainment offerings, and like I said, each country has at least one thing. But let me quickly talk about characters first. Festival of the Holidays this year will bring a brand new character meet and greet to Epcot. Located in Future World West, you can meet Wreck-It Ralph and Vanellope together. Now, I may be wrong, but I believe this is a first for Disney World, so I suspect that they will be very popular. To clarify, they will be located right behind the Epcot character spot. You'll have to use the old entrance into Innoventions across the land. And don't worry, they're not replacing anybody. You will still get to meet Baymax, Joy and Sadness, and of course, Mickey, Minnie, and Goofy in their usual spots. Last year, we did also see one holiday edition, with Belle meeting guests in the France gazebo in her holiday dress. This was a nice rare sight to see, but I'm not entirely sure if this is happening again this year. I will certainly confirm this in my review. It's a great photo op for Beauty and the Beast fans, and I wish more of the princesses at Epcot would do this. But I can't leave out the main man himself. Like every year, Santa will once again be meeting his fans at the American Adventure Pavilion. But this spot is unique in that Mrs. Claus joins the big guy. In fact, this is the only location to see both Santa and Mrs. Claus together at Disney World. The holiday couple will be meeting guests throughout the day from November 18th to Christmas Eve only. Let's next do a quick recap on Holiday Storytellers. The one saving grace to my negative feedback from last year is the return of the Hanukkah Storyteller, who will now be located near the new L'Chaim Holiday Kitchen in between Morocco and France. This used to be located in America, where the storyteller would share the traditions of the Jewish holiday. The remaining holiday storytellers for 2018 are Sigrid and the Christmas Gnome in Norway, the Chinese Lion Dancers in China, La Befana in Italy, the Daruma Doll Seller in Japan, Père Noël in France, and of course Father Christmas in the United Kingdom. They all have various showtimes, so I recommend you grab a times guide when you visit or refer to the My Disney Experience app. And the remaining countries will have some various musical acts as well, performing classic holiday songs from various countries. But there is one key musical act in Future World, Joyful, a Gospel Celebration. This is one of my favorites, and perhaps the best daytime musical act in my book for this event. This gospel choir sings fantastic, uplifting holiday songs and also briefly shares the meaning of Kwanzaa for many African Americans. They perform at the Fountain View stage, usually up to 4 times a day, from 1:25 p.m. to 4:25 p.m. But always double check that times guide again for details. Now, heading into World Showcase, the remaining musical acts for 2018 are Mariachi Cobre in Mexico, which gets a holiday overlay called Las Posadas Celebration. Next is Dirch and Dirch, a new Bavarian band in Germany. Sahara Beat in Morocco. The Canadian Holiday Voyagers on the Mill stage, who are pretty popular. And of course, the Voices of Liberty transform into the Dickens Carolers. That's another fantastic musical act. Okay, we are now at the home stretch and into the big stuff. I normally don't make too much of this, but I have to highlight Illuminations and the special holiday tag at the end, because this will be the final holiday season with Illuminations. So 2018 is the year to make it count. Disney recently announced that sometime in the fall of 2019, we will get a temporary show called Epcot Forever, before getting a brand new nighttime spectacular in 2020. I'd like to think that both of these upcoming shows will have some sort of holiday edition, but Illuminations in this holiday form will soon come to an end. I personally like to dine with my fireworks at Epcot, and I'll be visiting La Hacienda this year with a late night reservation just to get a nice relaxing view. If you want to do the same, you can also check out Spice Road Table in Morocco or the Rose and Crown Pub in the UK. I think this is the best way to watch the fireworks. Other notable good places to watch the show are in Italy near the gondolas at the lagoon, and the island in between France and the UK. But now for the big daddy, the Candlelight Processional. This is a Disney holiday icon, and I know that a lot of people plan their holiday trip to Disney World around this specific performance. This is a 1-hour-long retelling of the story of Christ and his birth, complete with a 50-piece orchestra, an impressively large choir, and a celebrity narrator. It's very moving and perhaps the most popular form of entertainment in Epcot's entire year. For 2018, we have 4 new celebrity narrators. First, we have Helen Hunt performing November 24th and the 25th. Alfonso Ribeiro will be just after her on November 26th and 27th. Yes, friends, Carlton is coming to Epcot for the holidays. Bart Millard, mostly known for being the lead singer of Mercy Me, will make his debut on December 10th and 11th. And Moana fans, Auli'i Carvalho will narrate performances December 21st through the 23rd. These new additions will join longtime favorites such as Neil Patrick Harris, Whoopi Goldberg, and Jodie Benson. And before I leave you, let me give you a few more practical details on the show. Even though the entire event starts November 18th, Candlelight Processional starts a little bit later. But this year, it will start on Thanksgiving, November 22nd, and run all the way until December 30th. This is located at the American Gardens Theater at the very back of World Showcase. And there are 3 performances each night, at 5 p.m., 6:45, and 8:15. The first 2 performances are usually the most difficult to get seats, but I find that the last performance can be somewhat easier. So there you have it, my friends, a complete guide to this year's Festival of the Holidays at Epcot, which also concludes all of my guides for the holidays this year at Walt Disney World. If you haven't seen them already, check out my guides for both Flurry of Fun at Hollywood Studios, my personal favorite, and Mickey's Very Merry at Magic Kingdom. But this isn't the end for Epcot. Like all of the other events, I will soon provide you with my review, along with some top tips, and of course, plenty of food reviews. And if you have any questions you want to ask me, make sure you submit them to me for my Q&A video coming up in December. But that will have to do it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, if you can dream it, you can do it.